Okay, awesome. Yay. You guys, thank you so much for being here in the Professional Learn and Grow. Welcome back from 14 minutes ago. For those of you who do not know me, I am Khalilah. I'm a professor here. I know we're close and we all know each other, but you never want to assume, you know? I've definitely met some people here I hadn't seen before. So this is a learn and grow that I am honored to be a part of. I was telling everyone the story of how Deanna asked me a while back to do it, and I was like, yeah, sure, she'll ask us and we'll be like, oh yeah, I'll do that, that'll be great. And then yesterday at the cheer performance, she was like, well, could you do it tomorrow? and I was like, yes. So I thought that was a fun story. And I think too, I know that it helps so much with everything else in your world if you can be at peace. So we have a lot of stress, we have a lot of stuff going on. I wanted to give like a little bit of history about myself that is short. And the key is, it's funny because I called this Professional Learn and Go 3 Keys to Peace, and then it was subtitled How an Untamed Girl Became a Peace Dancer. And what does this have to do with you? So I thought that was like really funny because that was my world. Just a little bit about me. I'm the oldest of 3 siblings, and I grew up in a home where like it was very strict. We were not allowed to express. And I think over time, just all the pressures of being like good and right and pure and all this stuff led to a lot of anger and resentment. So I really grew up being this like super like, raging person. And it was so hard to live my life like that. After having like gone down the road of life and like become a mother and all this stuff, I literally started asking and like wondering like, what is it all about? I had so much angst and I always had so much like ire inside of me, and it really hurt me and the people around me in my life. So I was like just starting to like ask within myself and my own heart and my own mind, like, whoa, what is this all about? I don't like how I'm feeling. Life doesn't seem to have any meaning. I need help. I'm lost on this stuff. And this was at a time when like it was not stylish to have mental issues or like mental, stuff going on or emotional issues. And it's especially like frowned upon, I think, in communities of like color and stuff back then. It's definitely stigmatized in those circles and those ways. So it wasn't something that we're allowed to talk about. So when you have all of these emotions inside, and I know that I could not be the only person experiencing this, it led to a lot of questions. It led to a lot of suffering in my life. So I just kept asking, like, what is life all about? What am I supposed to be doing? Blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, I need a purpose. I'm reaching out for something. And I kept getting within my like inner vision, you need to find a way to help, to be of service. It has to be something that you can give to others. Your life can't be about you, or you're going to continue to be frustrated. But there's 3 keys to peace that are about us, and it could only be about us. And it was these 3 things that helped me turn my life around from being this like literally just crazed rageaholic who just burned down everything around her, created nothing but chaos wherever I went. And I didn't know why I was creating this. I didn't know why that was always the outcome. So I came up with this like whole system and practice forever. And it is just honor to share it with you guys, because I feel like a lot of people suffer in a lot of ways that we can't even imagine. But these 3 things really help. 1, Cease self-criticism. Cease self-criticism. So they've done studies, and in these studies, they realize that children, when they are born, they are learning at the genius level. Like every single one of us is born like at that genius level of learning. And the number one thing that makes a genius go down by age 5, by age 20, scientists found only 5% of us were still learning at that genius level. And the number one reason why, the number one thing that de-geniused our brains was repeated self-criticism, putting yourself down, daily telling yourself that you are dumb, stupid, wrong, ugly, whatever the case is. Self-criticism takes us from learning at a genius level to like being a person who holds that as a habit inside. Like, how are we talking to ourselves? How are we listening to ourselves? How are we relating to ourselves? For me, that was just so deep, just such a deep thing of like, I really wanted to be this perfect person. I was so disappointed when I found out that there wasn't going to be a day when I was going to become perfect and stay that way forever. Like when I found that I wasn't going to reach the age of perfection, like 65 or 70 or any age was going to be perfect, I got really sad. And it was really hard for me to grasp. But the key to kind of like unlocking that door was not learning not to criticize myself. When you don't criticize yourself, your criticism for others goes away, like out the window. You really, if you can stop criticizing yourself and stop hurting yourself and being in conflict with yourself in that one way, and it literally took like 12 years to undo those patterns of like, you're dumb, you're stupid, you're never going to make it, whatever, all of that. I mean, it takes a long time to undo that. And if you can do that, if you can even fathom yourself being someone who does not criticize yourself, you can go a long way down the road where other people are like wasting a lot of life force on that one thing. And that helped me a lot, just putting that down, that one habit down, and replacing it with acceptance of myself. Guess what? That perfect day is never going to come. You have to love yourself the way you are, no matter what. Like, I have to forgive myself for all the junk, all the mistakes, all the past. Learning not to criticize myself and to like love myself instead, talking nice to myself, yes, in the mirror, that turned my life around for the better. Now I do not have the energy to criticize others, and it saves me a lot of energy. It puts peace where there used to be a lot of war and a lot of rage and a lot of pain. So that one thing. So I thought it would be fun to like make an alliteration out of these so they're easy to remember. So they're all going to start with that sound. Alliteration is like my favorite literary term. We want to do a class about the silly side of writing, and I will teach all about the fun, silly stuff. Well, alliteration's like top of the list. Anyways, the next thing. Silence is stillness. Be still and know. It's an old proverb, but it's not just a cliche, and it's real. It's really, really, really real. Alliteration, yes, please. Yes, thank you, Danny. It's something that is simple, but it's not easy. It's simple, but it's also really hard, like really hard. The old saying is be still and know, but a lot of people are like, oh, can we ask our neighbor and know? Could we search the internet? No. Can we call someone on the phone? And no. You actually have to sit still in your physical body with no noise and no stimulation. The good news is it only takes 5 minutes. The bad news is it takes 5 minutes. That's like forever these days, right? I mean, so in order to come to peace, that is such a helpful thing to do. You have to sit still and be in that silence, and it only takes about 5 minutes. Now, we don't know how this works, okay? I'm not a doctor. We don't know how it works. We just know that this is a requirement for a peaceful, stable, streamlined, smooth mental and emotional environment. And I think it just allows us to just put down all the fretting and the worrying and the I should be doing this and I shouldn't be doing that, which takes a lot of life energy to manage those expectations all the time, our own and other people's. It takes a lot of life energy to manage those things. So we have to be able to just place it down and pick it back up later. It can be 5 minutes, it can be 60 minutes, however long we want to do it, but just sitting in the still silence, breathing, not moving or speaking or thinking or scanning. And a lot of times I get the question like, well, what am I supposed to be thinking about? That's the thing. So you could focus on maybe a single candle light. You don't have to focus on anything. You shouldn't be thinking about anything. You can rest. Imagine resting from the million billion thoughts and feelings and roller coaster of emotions. Imagine taking a break from that. If we do that every day and just sit in a nice stillness, we could have a break from that. And I think it helps to shore up our resources in here. At least that's what I do. These whole 3 peace keys, it's what I teach because it's what I do. And everyone could apply it in a different way. Everybody could understand it in a different way, a way that applies to you. This is just what helped turn me from this wild and crazy person to being a peace dancer, where I can help other people to engage in activities that bring ease and peace and joy and calm and stability in our mind, body, and spirit, instead of everything I used to go through. And I went through that for lifetimes. Well, in Khalilah world, a lifetime is 7 years. A lifetime equals 7 years in Khalilah world. So the last thing is self-expression. Self-love that equals self-expression. Now, how do I express this love for myself? Or how do I express what's inside of me? You have to give yourself time. And it's funny because there's little teeny tiny things that we can do that open the door to self-expression. Maybe we don't know what's in here. Maybe we don't know what we want to express. But if we take the time to play around with what we might want to express, or explore the million billion ways we could express. I love writing and dancing and singing and playing. And I feel like those are natural things, but everybody has different ways of expressing themselves. Whatever your self-expression is, it could be anything. It could be swimming or sewing or whatever it is. That's what you have to do. It doesn't matter if someone else says, hey, you're not allowed to do that. or that thing makes no sense that you're trying to do over there, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Just let yourself do it. Just let yourself do it. And I think the body and mind and the heart are really vocal about like, this is what I want to do. But we tell ourselves, no, I'm not allowed to do that. My thing that I would always have to turn around is like, I can't do that because of this. And I think every human being on the planet has some of that inside of them. I can't do that because of this, because it's the first thing that like logical minds will tell us. You can't do that because of this. Whatever the reasons are, we could just take a little break from those. We still want to be responsible and reasonable adults, but we can take breaks from that where we can just play and be and express and do the things that we want to do. And I call it medicine because it does really, really, really allow for a lot of healing of those places inside that we squash and silence just to be in the world. So I'm putting like a lot of love in here, really looking at myself and telling myself that I love myself and I forgive myself and I trust myself, really having that conversation. I just remember years when I could not look myself in the eye at all. That's how mad I was at myself and everything in the world. And I think a lot of people experience that. We have to be able to face ourselves. It wasn't until I could face myself and say, I love you, I forgive you. You know, we're going to go down this road together and be together and be tight. And we're not going to talk mean to each other anymore. And we are going to be pals on this journey, right? It wasn't until that I reached that point where I could even think about like being at peace within my own heart and soul, or like teaching other people like how to be at peace, or like what's that all about. So 3 things that helped. Cease self-criticism is the number one thing that de-geniuses us for life. Sit in the silent stillness. Give your brain and your heart and your body and your feelings a rest from all of this. And then self-expression. Self-expression equals self-love. Whatever that thing is that you need to do, that you have to do, that's in your heart, that you know needs to come out, that's your medicine. That's your expression of being this beautiful 1 in a million thing that you are. Do that thing. You don't need anybody to tell you that it's okay to do it. Just do it. You don't have to talk about it. You can just do it and notice how much it makes you grow, and it makes you put that pride and that love that we all need within ourselves. It helps that part to grow. So yeah, those are the things. Any questions? You guys, thank you so much for listening. I really hope this helps. Thank you so much, Deanna, for nominating a piece professional learn and grow. So yeah, those are things that really helped me, and I hope that anyone can, you know, apply those to their own lives. Dr. Pam?
I'm probably just restating what's coming into the chat, but that was beautiful and wonderful to hear more of your story, and the alliterations, all the S's, that's perfect. I'm going to be able to remember that, I know, and that was really, really nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks for saying so. And you guys, the chat is so full of awesomeness and love. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Prof. Sharon, go ahead, please.
So first of all, very powerful. Thank you for sharing. When everybody speaks their where they got to from where they were, you know, I love just how you saw your growth and the rage that you had and the rage that is not that's been replaced, you know. And what struck me is that, self-doubt can take a long time to chip away at. I know I'm better than I was 20 years ago, and I'm knowing in the next 5 to 10 years, I'm going to get even better at not having that self-doubt. But when you've had it for so long, it can almost, you believe it so deeply, even though you know it's not true, right? You believe it so deeply that it can take a while to really carve that part out and say, no, I'm not going to have that there anymore. I'm going to have this much more positive thing. So that's what struck with me. And also that as far as shoulds, sometimes like if, where there's certain things that it would be good if we did, but they're still not shoulds, and when you put shoulds in your vocabulary, I learned that through counseling years ago, that shoulds can be very dangerous, and they put a lot of negative feelings in your heart. So yeah, so thank you, Khalilah, very much for sharing. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for sharing too. I really appreciate everyone's comments and just for being here and taking the time to learn and grow together. And I love the learn and grows that I've been to here. It's an honor to host one of these. Dr. Pam, is your hand up? Oh, okay, sorry, you're muted.
Forgot to put it down.
Okay.
There you go.
Let's see, Prof. Nicole, and then Deanna, please.
Deanna's had her hand up first.
No, go for it, Nicole. No worries.
Okay. Yeah, that was great. It's really good to see you doing your, practitioner, a peace practitioner, and that real, remedial and healing aspect of it. And just being, when you hear about peace or the power behind it, it seems like it's going to be this big booming, like, rah, as opposed to, the silence or the stillness of that. And I just get that a lot being around you in our things that we co-teach together and stuff. And sometimes I'm like, hey, but you're younger and I should be teaching, but it's really nice to be able to just facilitate that piece in the context of what we do as, CAA professors, because it can be, throw you off your balance sometimes, just adjusting. And so getting in that piece from within. And I like that you talked about, you didn't call it affirmations, but affirmations are so important, telling ourselves that positive self-speak and rewiring or, recording over the tapes that maybe are broken messages. And there's a lot of peace in that. And with that, the power that a lot of people mention. So thank you. It was good to see that and hear you.
Thank you so much. Good.
Yeah, my message and my comments are kind of similar to Professor Nicole's, where I just feel peace when I'm around you. So I just, that really helps me, and I'm a happier person when I'm around you. And the practice of just, the self-affirmations and making it a habit, because sometimes I'll logically think, okay, I've got this down, it's all good. But you just never know when those triggers can pop up, right? Or you put yourself in a different place and all of a sudden I feel like I've reverted back 10 years, right? But when I do have those practices and those tools and giving myself space and affirmations, it helps. It helps because it's not like a one and done, it's a lifelong journey. And so that was a really good reminder. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate hearing that. Yeah, it's every day. Like showering, I say.
It is.
Go ahead, Prof. Sharon, please.
Just very quickly, Khalilah, when I first saw you at the Campbell community track area doing your dance, that was your self-expression. That was one of you were expressing and you were creating. And I normally just don't go up to people when they're performing. And your peace and your joy and your beauty drew me to approaching you, you know, it, and so I learn a lot by watching you at CAA and watching the decisions you make and the choices to really live your own life and your own happiness, right? And your own peace. And so thank you. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much. And I really appreciate everyone who commented in the chat. I read those, and everyone who spoke from the heart. Really appreciate that. And yes, this is awesome. I love my time here. And all of you guys have made my work here that much more like joyful. And I just love having a place where I can like teach the dance of peace with our students and stuff. But just having like gone through like my own journey and then being here with this beautiful group, letting, you know, just getting to share like all of this together. So thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate it.
Yay.
Yay. Okay, I'll see you here on campus where we already are.
You're awesome, Khalilah. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks
you.
again so much.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
You're welcome. Bye, everyone.
Bye. And
I
the
think I'm
big
gonna be from home for the rest of today. I think is how it's supposed to happen, and then one more negative test, and then tomorrow. Or
You're gonna come in
Bye.
tomorrow? Okay,
but yeah,
great.
so I have one negative, one down, and I'm gonna do another one in the morning and go from there.
bye.
Okay, all right. I'm glad you're feeling better, Prophet.
you.
Take care.
Bye.
All right, good to see
Bye.
you all
Everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
soon.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Anthony.
Bye.
Bye,
No
Anthony.
fun.
Later.
Bye.